Alright, it's Bill again, and today I'm making my version of buttered chicken. It's this great whole, like curry thing. So, curry isn't like comes from a plant, it's like a combination of spices. So I actually put together my own, and I'll talk about that in a minute because it's really kind of cool. It's called the garam masala, and it's basically cumin and coriander, turmeric, cardamom, black pepper, cinnamon, nutmeg, and smoked paprika. That's my version. Alright, first we got some chicken breasts that I cut up into some pretty good size pieces. They're still bite size. And I got some flour with some black pepper in it. And I just want to kind of break it down, mix it up. That's what I use chopsticks for. Oil's definitely getting hot over there. You can use any kind of oil for this. I just had my olive oil sitting out, so I used it. Because we're not really cooking at a really high temperature. Alright. Wipe that off and save it for another day, because that's what I use to stir all my stuff with. Alright, so basically I need to get a paper towel. I forgot something, because this does make a mess. Alright, so first what I'm going to do, I'm going to get a handful of chicken and throw it in here. So it's funny, when I cook chicken breasts, I like to get really thick ones and cut them in half, so like the skin side one is always perfect, and the underside I use for scraps like this. Works out really well. So we're going to toss them around. And then the last step is get nice and coated. So I got my sifter here, my colander, and I just want to give them a little shaky doodle, get the excess out. I'll dig for the hidden pieces on the second batch. Alright, so I'm just going to kind of toss these around. Let's get them in the hot oil. I always tell people like, oh, 2 tablespoons of oil, right? Yeah, I want to make sure the bottom's coated, so I'm going to just dash a little more in there. Alright. Next handful. Just get these done. This is the most fun part of it. And once again, you don't want to mess them around too much. Just let them kind of sit there. You want to get good, get them cooked on that one side before we get in there and stir them around. Should be enough room for all this. Get this out of the way. If you're trying to make enough for, you know, a bunch of people, you could always do it like in two groups. Let's see. Trusty spatula here. And it's so much easier if they're a good size. I mean, you could use tongs here if you wanted. That might end up doing. So we're going to get kind of a little bit of cooked flour in here, which is going to help with the thickening agent. A bit toasty in there. Like I said, you can use tongs if you want. Beautiful. So basically, I want to cook the chicken. I want to get the chicken nice and cooked. You kind of can't go back. And some of the pieces are kind of like more square than flat, so I kind of have to keep an eye that I don't have to flip them to another direction. This piece here, beautiful. And you can see we're getting nice color. This is how it's supposed to be. Looks great. So what I need to do, I'm going to cook it another minute. Get my fingerprints off there. Alright, I got everything else set up. I gave it about 2 minutes. Just kind of left it alone after I flipped it the first time. Like I said, I just really want to get that chicken cooked through. If you miss that step, nothing's going to keep that chicken tender. You know, you can't like microwave it later or whatever what you want to do because it'll put all the ingredients in it. But so I just really wanted to make sure. And it's kind of funny. I probably get lots of negative comments, but you almost can't overcook chicken. I mean, when you're doing it this way, when you're kind of frying it in oil. I mean, you have to really work at it. Alright, so I turn it down just a little bit. And the reason is I don't want to make this a big, huge splatterina. I don't want to splatter everywhere and ruining everything. And the first thing I need to do is I have half a stick of butter. This is buttered chicken, right? Turn it down a little too low. And if you cut it up into chunks, it'll kind of melt in there a little easier. Like I said, canola oil would be good to do this. I've made it with both. I don't really see a whole lot of difference. Good olive oil obviously has a little nuttiness to it, but that doesn't really take away from the whole flavor of this. That butter melting. Alright, so I got half a ginormous yellow onion, or a whole smallish medium onion I want to put in here. And remember, you read these recipes and they're like, oh, you got to take out the chicken and set it aside and do all these steps. What I'm trying to do is show you how you can make something without having to add all those unnecessary steps. So just want to get that. I start moving things around in here. I want to get that onion softened. And now remember, so we've got butter in here, so now we can't go flame-throwing hot. And the butter is what really gives it the creaminess. Well, it's one of the ingredients. Beautiful. Beautiful. This is just beautiful. I love this dish, if you can't tell. So, I got a couple cloves of garlic here. I'm going to toss in. If you want the exact combination for the garam masala, put it in the comments and I'll post it. That's fine. I'm not holding any secrets. And I want to just really start to move this chicken around. It's got beautiful color on the other side from sitting in here. Just trying to get everything softened up a little bit. Yeah. Beautiful. This is just spectacular. Alright, so here's my garam masala, and I'm going to start with about a teaspoon. See how much it's going to take to change the color and really make this happy. My half teaspoon fits in the jar, so I have to do this twice. And I need a teaspoon of chili powder. That's a little outside of the normal, but I think it adds a lot more flavor. Alright, turn it down again. Start getting this tossed together. I was smart. I think last time I did this, I made a hole and moved the chicken away so I could put the spices in the center, so they didn't clump on the chicken like this, but it'll just take a little more work. So I'm going to get this mixed up, and I'm going to show you a picture. I'm going to take a shot above so you can see what the heck this looks like. So we're going to cut away for a second and get the camera set up so I can show you how lovely this looks. Wow, doesn't that look lovely? See all that dark, deep color in there? It's all going to kind of calm down after we mix in the rest of the ingredients, but I just wanted to show you. And let me tell you that the smell is really terrific. So let's get you back up so you can see how I'm going to finish this off. Everything mixed up really well and is cooking really well. So this is really great. So I'm just kind of letting it simmer right now. I'm going to add some ingredients that aren't real hot, so I might have to turn it up. But basically I have half a cup of chicken stock. And this is the first step that we want to get it back to a little bit of bubble here. Because I want to reduce it a little bit. This is really going to help distribute all those fine seasonings. And everyone's like, hey, it looks like curry, but you didn't put curry in it. Like I said, curry is a seasoning to its own. It's a combination of stuff, and we just made our own. And the onion and garlic are just so happy in here right now. So I need to give this about 2 minutes. That's just a hair. Because we want to get that chicken stock kind of really going in there. So I made a little rice ahead of time. And that's what I like to serve it with. And you can do all sorts of things. And remember, I still have my garam masala here in case it doesn't look as curry enough for you. Even at the end you can kind of mix it in. That's perfectly fine. You know, I've been reading about the whole history of this dish, and let me tell you, it's just fantastic. Okay. Like I said, I like to make it because it is pretty simple and it's pretty like casual, like it's not high stress to make. And it just, because I love curry things, but the hardest thing was for me to come up with a combination for how to do this. And once I figured that out, it made all the difference in the world. And that chicken is getting so infused right now with all that flavor. It's just like really good, really good. Like I said, I'm just trying to get a little reduction here. It's really started, so we're on the right path. This is one of those things you can save for leftovers, and it tastes just as good. Just be careful heating it up because we're going to put some half and half in here and some other stuff. And so yeah, microwaves have more than one setting. That's not always 100%, you know. Oh, we gotta get it hot. You know, that's why everyone has melted Tupperware at home. It's not the dishwasher, it's when you microwave it. It's got some fatty food in there. It just like cooks away, you know. All I can tell you is this is like so special. Alright, I'm pretty happy here. I'll turn it down once again. Like I said, I got half a cup, a half and a half. That's a half, a half, a half. So Why half and half? Well, you want the milk fat content because whenever you're making anything like a sauce, if it doesn't have enough milk fat, it could break and kind of gets like the consistency of like really like fine curd cottage cheese or something. Sometimes you're making soups, that will definitely happen. So you just have to be careful. And one of the things that can really cause that is if you have a dairy product and you add citrus, any kind of citrus, the acid in it. You can usually just mix it to get back together, but sometimes it's kind of startling, but I've done that myself. Alright, so how do we make this look like you really expect to see it? Oops. I shouldn't have worn clean pants today. So the last thing you want to do, I'm going to turn it down here, is I've got some Greek yogurt, and you want the higher milk fat content. And I want about a quarter cup. This container is like 5 ounces, so basically half of this. A little less, doesn't really matter. I don't think you're going to ruin it if you put too much in. And remember, got my curry stuff there, just in case it gets too blonde or doesn't look the way or taste the way I want it. It's never too late. So we're going to turn the heat off at this point. So who out there is daring enough to try this? I really think more people should try this. I'm going to put just a little more of that yogurt in here because we want the richness of it. Yeah, perfect. That's what I want to see. And you know, if your pan cools down too quickly, you know, you can have this on a little low heat. That's absolutely fine. Alright, so what do we do with this now? Glad you asked. I wish you could smell this. It's really, really cool. Alright, so guess what I have? I got a little plate here that I put my rice into. So what I do is I take a little bowl and I line it with plastic wrap and smush my rice in there, and it just makes this little pretty mound, right? And what am I going to do? I'm going to take my spoon here. I want to get some this around it. So I'm not an expert at plating. And then I'm going to drizzle a little of that stuff right on the rice there. And if you can figure out how to make that, you'll be the envy of all your friends. That's just beautiful. Oh my goodness. I had to lick my finger. It's really, really good. So, like always, I really want you to try it. Please, keep up the subscriptions. I really appreciate you guys watching me. And I know my videos are long, but I really need you to see the steps. I'm not trying to just shortcut and cheat you and, sleight of hand, start making something that looks like crap and then all of a sudden pull out a beautiful version out of the oven or something. Because a lot of people do that. There's a lot of trickery in these videos. But anyway, I have to get to eating, so thank you so much. Please comment and let me know if there's something you want me to try or if you want a recipe for my garam masala. And notification, man. Let's watch them all because I got a lot of them out there. And we'll see you back soon.